Do not. Oh, I mean, you can if you want to, but guess what? We're live in an afternoon show. What's going on, Corey? How are you, brother?
What's up, Mike? How's it going, man?
Pretty good. And you know what's strange? What's really strange is the show title's up, and I have chat going.
Wow.
Right?
I don't even know what to say. And
in the background, I'm currently watching the announcements right now. The Full Worldwide Developer Conference is talking about Apple Watch OS and the new updates.
I have it running too, actually. Yeah.
I'm hoping to see something from them, a new design of Apple Watch, but let's see.
It looks
so
the
they're
same
still in
currently.
software. Interesting.
Still looks the same. I don't have one. I must admit.
Hey, guess what it is? It's 10 seconds, Corey. It's my favorite time of the day.
It's 10.
10 seconds.
It's your 10. Your 10 favorite 10. Your 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, and we are here. Don't touch that dial because we are. There's no dial. That's so funny.
Yeah, don't. That's a thing.
That doesn't transfer well, right? It doesn't transfer well.
Some people are like, "What do you mean? What dial?
What dial? What's a dial?"
Like rotary phones.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the reference. It is from the old rotary phones of the day. Which actually, I just gotta. Okay. Good. Everything else is good. Hey, welcome. Show. What are we at? Show 48. Corey and I had
48.
We have to cop to the fact that last week, life got in the way of the live stream. I mean, that is a definite. Where Corey has obligations, I have obligations, but we're looking now at things a little differently. Where this is going to become, hopefully, back on schedule as where we were a couple months ago. So that's number one. We're gonna, at the end of the show, Corey and I want to talk to you guys about the direction of the channel, what's going on. Happy with the growth, real happy with the growth. I think we just picked up another subscriber like in a minute ago.
Hey,
so thank you whoever that was. And I think at this level we're now at 214, which for us, a fledgling channel, is amazing.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it's the watch minutes, and as that goes up, we got stuff to talk about. But we got more. We got Ford, Mustang Mach-E, and the old Cybertruck are going head to head with the Ford F-150 in the EV market. Wait, hold on. I just totally screwed that up.
Yeah, there's two Fords going on here.
Ford Mach-E is doing well in some places. The Ford F-150 Lightning is going to be paired up against, obviously, Cybertruck. And there's hit and misses in the Ford, I think, EV strategy. So there's that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then we're going to be talking about, what's the next one? United
Supersonic United jets, people.
Yeah. So Corey brought it to our attention, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that Airlines dropped pretty much off the face of the planet in their construction, their facilities in Melbourne, Florida. But this might be part of the contingency plan because they didn't get any buyers for their aircraft. So there's something to talk about there. Also, we're going to be looking at today, it's some more information on Joby, which you found. And then we're going to look at also finally just whatever's going on here at WWDC 2021, because interesting to see that Apple is pushing themselves again, which is fantastic for all of us who are in the cell phone market and the iOS market. I'm a little disappointed right now with the iPad developments, but the one nice thing that looks like is coming from this is that you can now make direct apps for your iPhone.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
On your iPad. Which
that's pretty cool, actually.
Pretty cool.
Is that only an M1 chip thing?
I think it might be, which means I don't know. I'd have to go back and look because I'm not sure what they said about that. But as I'm paying attention to it, I mean, obviously my new iPad is going to be able to do it, which is fantastic. But who knows? But that's something else to be looking at. But there was also a lot of interesting things in maps, and we'll get into that into the end. So, hey man, how have you been? I feel like
busy. Yeah, just as we alluded to, life stuff getting, always going on, and that's nothing, particular to us, of course. Stuff's going on with you guys as well, out in the YouTube world, and that's the way it is. But last week just didn't get any shows in. As Mike alluded to, though, we're planning on doing our normal at least 3 shows a week. Starting now. Yeah. And carry on. So. Yeah.
Hopefully this week we'll be able to hit the targets of hitting the Wednesday show in the afternoon as well. And hopefully Thursday we'll be able to give you an afternoon. If not, we'll try to keep you posted, but we're going to go for Wednesday and Thursday this week, back on the older schedule, trying to keep things going together. I think, right? That's what we're looking at, right?
Yeah,
But
and I mean, as it stands, we could do day shows
mhm,
for now.
okay,
If
cool.
we move to night, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but yeah,
Move
but yeah.
tonight like vampires. Ha ha
I
ha.
mean, we had talked to, we can maybe get to it a bit later, but I know we talked that maybe the live show is maybe a bit better in the evenings for people
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I guess, if you guys are watching this, post it down below, right? If we do, the big segment where we talk about everything all at once. If you guys are down for watching the whole live show, is that something you'd rather? Because again, you can interact with us during the live show, and if that's something you'd rather see in the evening or anytime, that's we'll get to some more of the you guys stuff a bit later. But again,
Yeah.
post down the comments. That's what we'll get to later too, right?
This is
If you
yeah,
got some comments, post it down there. Let us know.
that's really big. That's one of the places that we have to explore, and one of the places where Corey and I know that the material that we bring to you may or may not introduce the most amount of comments. But with such a limited amount of subscribers right now, at this point, we'll talk about at the end as what that's going to play into our future. So, with that said, I think we're going to go right into this one. Now, recently, we've changed a little bit of the format of what's going on, where sometimes we've been doing a single article each, and then other times we've been taking a look at as more of an open discussion. And I think at this point, for EV vehicles and Ford, this one's more of an open discussion because we kind of found different opinions and different takes. One on what's factually going on with the Ford Mach-E and its
Yeah.
sales and how well it's doing actually in Norway, and
Yeah,
it's a very
yeah.
competitive market. And another one, which Corey found out that there's other places that are already comparing the F-150 Lightning to the non-existent Cybertruck, but
Yeah.
on paper, what it means, I guess, for that. So without further ado, I'm going to take the helm here just for a minute, and I want to introduce you guys
Yep.
to this is an article coming to you direct from the folks at Auto Week, and this is the Ford Mustang Mach-E was Norway's bestseller in May, and this is what a report said, basically saying that the obviously Ford, struck some gold here, and it says right down the middle of the content in the article, it says that so far, it landed in the #1 position in the first full sales month in the country, and Reuters reported that 1,384 Mach-E crossovers were registered in the Scandinavian country in the month of May, accounting for 10% of all new car sales. Okay. Now, Norway currently sits in the lead in EV vehicles at 60.4%, and they're in the process of phasing out new vehicle sales that are actually diesel or gas, okay,
Yep.
out by 2025, which is much like
Yep.
it's very similar, echoing to what we're hearing from a lot of the people that want to change over some of the marketplaces, even that so far that Toyota's caution that said we have to be careful because the infrastructure might not handle it and you might not make that target.
Mhm.
However, what it's basically saying here is that what it knocked off in the process was the #1 selling Model EV in the country at the time, which was the Tesla Model 3.
Mhm.
Okay. So that kind of dovetails into the fact that if we also look at the fact that further down the list, there was actually one of the cars that we have given a lot of grief, which was the Mercedes EQC.
It's there as well. It's there as
It's
well. The
there.
e-tron's on
Okay. The
there. Yeah.
e-tron, okay, the e-tron is in, and also the Volkswagen ID4 sibling, okay,
Mhm.
came in third. So
Yep.
there's quite a few of the cars that we've actually put on our radar in this list that I'm quite
Yep.
surprised that out of all of them, the Mustang Mach-E was the one that landed on the top of the charts. However, the passion that Norway has for American goods seems to be quite good. I mean, they seem to like America. Obviously, they're buying Teslas, right?
Yep.
So they're happy with those. But I guess that really dovetails into what Corey's going to talk about very quickly here, which is what are we going to compare to the fact that the hit and misses in the EV market on the Ford side, right? This seems like that would make the Mach-E a success, where we would see
Yeah.
more of them on the roads. I have yet to see one on the roads yet. I have not.
The Mach-E.
Yeah, I'm
I
not.
saw one on the road in Central Florida, and it literally, we were not in a car at the time. We were just on the side of the road, and it happened to just go by.
Mm,
So that's literally all I saw.
that's all I
I
saw.
saw the back, and I was like, "Shit, that's a Mach-E," and there
There
it
you go.
goes.
There you go.
And that was that. So I also have not seen a Mach-E in person. I have a person I know in Texas. I know he saw one in person in Texas. So some Mach-E's in Texas. So they're getting around, right? I mean, I think along with what Mike's saying too, one thing you'll kind of note on this best-selling EV list for at least Norway, right? For the article we're talking about, is they're all sedans or
Mm,
cars, right? They're all cars, and we'll get to the truck article next, of course. But just my kind of me just kind of brainstorming here too, talking about, everybody talks about range on EVs and things. If you have a bigger car, a bigger vehicle, transporting more mass, it requires a bit more power, and that's going to eat into your range,
Right.
which is a big thing that a lot of people that are either going to EVs or want to buy a new EV are always obviously thinking about is range. And with only a certain amount of physical space on board available to put batteries on an EV, something that weighs a bit less will probably get a bit better range. At least, sedan size. We're not talking smart car, tiny stuff. Because again, obviously can't fit as much batteries on there. But
It
the
kind
one
of
thing maybe note too is there's one car in there we haven't talked about. It was number 2, at least in Norway, right? And that was a Skoda. There's an EV Skoda in there. Something that I have not read anything about it, so I can't say much about the Skoda in there. But it's something to say that Volkswagen, the ID4 is over there. So just like you said, yeah, there's some American players in there too. So
interesting
but
though,
just
because I want to dovetail into something also there that you just said.
yeah,
Because once
yeah,
you're in the market to pay for a vehicle, and once you decide you're going to go EV, yeah,
mhm,
why not pay for more and get more space, which makes perfect sense.
yep.
And also what James Peckles in chat says is, I wonder what each of the cars costs over there. Is the Ford cheaper by a larger margin over there? I don't know. I have to, that's maybe it's time to go in and take a look.
I don't. Yeah, I know that, and Mike already mentioned it too, that Norway is pretty much the leader in the world trying to get totally electric
Yes.
quickly. But I'll note, just for people that maybe don't already know, that's not something like totally new. Norway was pretty much on board with EVs pretty early.
Hmm.
Um, in the EV kind of thing, basically ahead of the world in what they wanted to do. So Teslas have always done pretty well in Norway, actually.
Yes, very well.
And that's not, and that's maybe something just to point out is while we say Tesla Model 3's kind of been dethroned, at least for the moment, maybe it'll stay that way, off of the EV in Norway, Teslas have been selling pretty well in Norway for a while. So
It's funny when I
but
went to
that's a Norway EV thing. Yeah.
yeah, right. When you
So,
go to places in Norway, be surprised in the middle of winter and in
mhm.
places as far as north as Trondheim, and you see a large number of Teslas, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow, like this is, and
Yeah.
it's odd because let alone to see Teslas outside the
Mhm.
United States of America, but to see them in a Scandinavian country driving on snow with
Yes.
studded tires, you're like,
Yes.
oh wow,
Yep.
this is
Yep.
unique,
So again, maybe not a surprise.
right?
I'm in Florida, and the wife and I were able to go to Norway for some work stuff a few years ago, and I saw more Tesla Model S's
Oh yeah,
in Norway than I'd seen anywhere.
yeah,
I mean,
true,
they were
true.
everywhere. It was like, wow, this is crazy. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So yeah. But again, taking the Tesla off the top rung with a Mustang of all things.
Yeah, right.
The
So why don't you go ahead and then tell them about what the second part of this discussion is? Because right now I'm going to qualify the Mach-E as a technical hit. If it's hitting in Norway where it's popular,
mhm.
EVs are doing well, well, that's a hit. But now there's
Yep.
also something to digest for Motor Biscuit that says, well, maybe it's not a great hit after all with what Ford's strategies might be.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the next one, Mike was wanting me to talk about. I can talk about is basically it's a comparison we found at a website. It's called Motor Biscuit. Stick with me there on the name, but basically it's an F-150 Lightning versus the Tesla Cybertruck. Throughout the article, I will say this particular article does like the Cybertruck a bit better. I'll just say that. But withstanding just the article itself, right? We talked to you guys about this on one of our previous shows when the Lightning first was announced. Bam, okay, Lightning. We always we always had said an F-150 obviously is a great model to try this in because it's so very well selling in America. It's
Hmm.
the best selling truck, the F series trucks, and the F-150 being the lighter, maybe the lighter version, would be a good place to maybe try out with the electrification of the series. Because again, as we said, the heavier stuff you're going to need a bunch more batteries, and they themselves they weigh a lot. And not to say there's a lot of things changing in battery technology with battery energy density. But anyway, there you go. So the Lightning. And basically what this article is saying, it says a lot of things actually Mike and I already kind of brought up was that there's some concern, not concern, but just some things to say that it has a lot of towing capacity in the pounds because
Hmm.
we're talking electric motors. But range is something that is a concern, right? And it's funny we talked about that, and then as I was searching the internet over the actually last week, I came across a lot of things saying the same thing that they're not just with Ford F-150, the Lightning, but just cars, trucks in general, even Teslas. Like, what range do you actually get out of an electric car when you tow something with it?
Right.
And there's a whole gamut there as things I read. One of them was even some guy in a Model Y towing it through the foothills of North Carolina,
Right.
and he basically got about 40% of his normal range. Not too surprising. Depends what you're pulling, how much you can. The energy regen on the car doesn't, is not going to give you all your power back, obviously. So, but what a good way to say that, it's an analog straight to the Lightning, and for that matter, the Cybertruck. But again, you start pulling stuff, you're gonna need a bigger battery because your range is gonna go downhill.
Yeah,
as expected. The new battery tech that's supposed to come into the Cybertruck, I think they're the 4680 batteries. I'm totally just pulling that out. I can't remember, but the newest battery tech supposedly is going to say that the Cybertruck could get up to 600 miles of range, not towing anything, right? But 600 miles of range, and that would be amazing, right? If you could have the triple motor Cybertruck with 600 miles of range, you'll pay for it, of course. But
of course,
that truck will tow stuff. It's not slow. It's got pretty good range. And that was our concern with the Lightning is does
it have the range?
So, quick synopsis, and I'll pass it over to you, Mike. The article basically compares the base model and then the mid-range model Lightning to the Tesla, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty comparable with range and towing capacity.
Right.
But then it does go on to point out that the triple motor Tesla Cybertruck has just that much better figures. And that there's really no comparable version of the Lightning because they're not planning on.
No, true.
There's no talk of a triple motor thing. So, but yeah, there you go, man. What do you think? The truck.
Look, it's arguably. Here's the thing: one is vaporware, one is not at this moment. But there's a couple of brief things that they put in this article that I love. Okay, and the first one was some of the Elon Musk tweets, which is the Cybertruck option package, which actually is the hauler from Aliens, which I thought was was amazing. Then there was another one.
Of course he would.
That there was another tweet in here that he said that the pressurized version. No, actually, this one is telling. Actually, this is from Morning Brew, and it was the Ford F-150 Lightning had 45,000 reservations in its first 48 hours. However, the Tesla Cybertruck in 5 days had 250,000. Okay, and that is pretty telling there as well. But then the other part was that Elon Musk tweeted out one other thing here, which is Tesla Cybertruck pressurized edition will be the official truck of Mars. Well, all in jest, okay. And here's the thing for me. Again, when you're going to put your money down, you want to go for the biggest bang for your buck. The Ford F-150 Lightning is developed for a very specific Ford fan that likes the Ford F-150 body. Mm-hmm. It likes that design. They're excited to see an EV in the marketplace that they can actually use. And like I said, I don't think it's going after towers. I don't think it's going after anybody else except that wants a Ford F-150 nameplate that's an EV. And these people might be city dwellers and they just might want to go over bigger potholes. Okay, that might be the relative truth. However, that's the exact same market that the Cybertruck is actually catering to. Okay, because it has a different design, it has a different focus, it uses the language of Tesla to communicate what they really enjoy, which is being advanced technology, being different looking, and having the power and the specs. And I think the true difference there is when you name it Ford F-150 Lightning. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you have to expect that it's going to produce lightning-like results. But when I look at $69,000 for a Cybertruck and I look at $89,000 for the top of the line Ford F-150 Lightning, and I go triple motors, 0 to 60 times or sub their performance car, areas, adjustable, adaptable suspension, different strengths with the body in it itself and what it's able to handle.
I know.
Yeah, forget about what we've said about the charging stations and everything else that the infrastructure that Tesla already has. Forget about that. Now I'm talking my $69,000 hard-earned dollars. Now for $79,000, I can have the self-driving version. Okay, and I'm still not in a Ford F-150. Okay. And I think the one other thing better be for that $89,000 Ford F-150. It is 89, right? Am I quoting the number right? Is that
yeah?
Okay, it is 89, right?
The platinum.
The platinum.
Platinum version of the Lightning. And there's a lot of adjectives there, but yeah.
Sure, I better be able to reach across that dashboard and feel Alcantara from side to side like I'm in a Porsche at that point for that for that price point for an EV, because I know I'm going to have a very similar experience in the meticulousness that the Cybertruck will possess, as far as what I know from what Tesla's done before. Okay.
Yeah. I guess for me, it's literally just to say like one sentence: a $90,000 F-150.
Tough to look. If you got the Lariat,
And I
think
mean,
is it the Lariat's the top of the line for the old ones, right? I think is it the Lariat, or is it the Limited, or is it the
there's King Ranch,
King Ranch
there's
or something, right?
Lariat, there's I mean, and they're nice trucks. Don't get me wrong, I've been in one. They're really nice. And maybe I'll say internet, right? I'm not particularly a truck guy. I like trucks, driven a lot of trucks. Don't own a truck. Don't say I don't want a Cybertruck, right? But I guess, you know, I don't have an F-150. Anyway, I've driven a bunch of Fords for work and whatnot, but still a $90,000 F-150. I mean,
that's a tough swallow. Hey, look, you know, we got to wrap this one up a little bit so we can move on. But the difference that I see right now is, yes, Ford's got a hit on their hands in the Mach-E, and I'm waiting for them to hit the point where I see them on the road here locally. That would be great. But it just hasn't happened yet, and I don't know what that saturation point will be where you finally see some. Great that they've had success in Norway. That's awesome for them. However, the Ford F-150 brand is, I think, they're shoving that one out again a little bit too soon, just to make sure that they don't get beat in the EV marketplace as a late comer.
And that's valid. We talked about that too in some of our past videos. First come to market doesn't always mean the best, but Tesla's not a new product either, and
True. And for everybody that's watching this right now, hey, do us a favor. Let us know what you really think below, because if we're wrong and there's something that you don't like what we said, hey, and if you're just a huge fan of the F-150, let us know below, because those comments mean a lot to us. And especially the full-time subscribers. We know that you might be looking for a different topic from the show, but let us know also what you think, and let us know what we should be discussing. And thanks again for liking and subscribing. We appreciate it. All right.
Fun fact before we go.
Fun.
That video at the top, where right below the title, Ford F-150 Lightning boasts impressive numbers.
Yes.
There's a video there, right?
Yeah.
If you go to timestamp 3:29.
Oh, I just closed it. Go ahead.
You'll see it towing something, and it says max towing 10,000 pounds. And I want you to just tell me how much that helicopter weighs.
Oh, hold on. Now you got it. Okay, wait.
Because it's not 10,000 pounds. I'll give you a little hint.
Hold
it's
on.
Not 10,000, and the trailer isn't gonna make up with the other 7,000.
This is from the Ford. This is from the Mach-E one or the other one, the Tesla Cybertruck.
The F-150.
The F-150. Hold on. Let me see. So you're saying somewhere in the middle there's this
3 minutes. So near the top of the article there was a video.
Okay.
F-150 lights boast impressive numbers.
Okay.
It's a video of the Ford Lightning, and then 3 minutes 29.
So it's 3 minute mark, you said, right?
3 minute 29. 3 minutes 29 seconds.
All right, let's see what Corey's talking. Go here. All right, let's see. So here's the video.
You bringing it up for the
it's up.
chat? Okay, cool.
No audio. I'm just looking at the video right now.
Yeah. You'll see it towing capacity here. Should be soon.
See, target range of 300 miles. Oh God, that's an R22. That thing is not 10,000 pounds. That thing's like 1,400 pounds.
Yes, exactly. It's less than 1,500 pounds.
Okay, that's.
I mean, I just we're both helicopter pilots, airplane pilots. I figured I'd point that out.
Hold on, I gotta see that again.
I'm not calling false advertising, because I'm sure it can pull 10,000. I'm sure. I mean, it should be twin motors. It should be able to, but it's an R22 on a short trailer. So
yeah, that's kind of funny, because at the very least it's.
It's what?
No, I just want to see how
2,200 pounds.
I was more concerned. What I was really more concerned about was what they basically had set up for rigging on the mast to see what was happening.
Tie downs.
Yeah, with the tie downs.
Yeah, it looks like, unless those are rigid, they're pulling down on that blade.
Yeah, they are,
and they shouldn't be. But whatever. You get the idea.
So basically, what Corey and I are actually talking about here really quick, which is just kind of funny, and I'm just going to zoom in here, is that when you're oh no, look, okay, wait. One, they're not pulling down. They're actually supporting.
It's tied down in the back, but
no, look, there's some sort of cup system. Hold on a second. It looks like there's some sort of cup system that's actually metal structured, that's actually keeping the blades aloft and not pulling down on the blades. Huh, they might have got
Because
this
they
one
are
right.
bouncing.
They are bouncing. They are
But
bouncing.
I mean, yeah, whatever. It's just
We know what it is. Anyhow, that's kind of interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Anyway,
you know, that's funny. That it
yeah,
because people that wouldn't know wouldn't understand that that helicopter literally weighs enough that on a breezy day at an airport, if it gets caught the right direction, it's gonna literally lift it right off the deck and throw it into trees.
yeah.
So
It's
it's not the
it's a
heftiest.
Robinson R22 if you want to look it up, and yeah,
Yeah,
they don't weigh a lot.
no, they don't.
I mean, by design, but they don't weigh a lot.
This is true. This is true. All right, folks, like, subscribe, follow. That was I. You can't surprise me with ones like that because I was like, I didn't watch that part of the video because I didn't
You're
think it
like,
was important. Thanks for
what are we
catching me
talking
off
about?
guard. Hey, anyhow, so where are we going? You want me to go into the United Airlines, or what do you want to do? You want to?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That we touched on some supersonic travel, so
Yeah,
have
we
at it,
did.
man.
All right, cool. All right, so a couple weeks ago, we guys brought you an article that Aerion, which was scheduled to start construction on one of their massive developments on a supersonic building facility in Melbourne, Florida, suddenly just upped and folded shop. And there was speculation as to what happened because 2 days earlier, there was no indication to their employees that was going to happen. Well, however, United Airlines recently, okay, and this is from June 3rd, said that they're going to buy 15 ultra-fast airplanes from startup Boom Supersonic. And we have featured Supersonic here on the channel before in some other articles that we have covered. And basically what they're saying here is that the carrier is buying 15 planes from Boom Supersonic with the option to purchase 35 more. Okay, and Boom's first commercial supersonic jet, the Overture, has not been built or even certified yet. Okay, however, Boom is they're actually targeting starting passenger service 2029, which is absolutely a ludicrous, and I do mean ludicrous in the sense of how fast you're going to try to type certify and fly an aircraft that is very similar to the Concorde, because we know that their concept was very similar to the Concorde. Okay, at a Mach 1.7. Okay. And they also said that one of their goals were that they were going to try to get a per seat purchase down to $100 in previous articles that we've covered. Okay. So this is a tough one to swallow. And the reason why it's tough to swallow is because, look, here's the difference of what I see. And I could be completely wrong, but let me know in the comments below, is that right now, when you're going to make lofty goals on an aircraft that we haven't even seen, okay, and it's impacted the marketplace where another competitor has actually dropped out because obviously some level of competition is there that wasn't reached. However, when you're basically pinning your hopes on a vapor airplane, and I do mean vapor because it's not existent yet, okay, and you're forecasting this into the not too distant future of saying 1.7 Mach, but you've already suggested that a price point would be around $100. I know the technology is out there that could do this. However, you're setting amazingly difficult goals to do within that timeline. That's what I think. What's your take on this one?
Yeah, it's another business case. It's just like you said before. Can such a plane be built? Yeah, sure. I mean, they did it already with the Concorde, and Rolls-Royce is on board with these new, better engines. They're talking. One thing you'll maybe note too, if you saw our previous video on Boom Supersonic, you know they talk about sustainability. They're pretty big into trying to eventually get to net zero emissions for their operations while the planes are flying. So there's a lot of. I say that just to say that they're doing more than just one thing. They got a lot of things they're trying to do, and one of which is $100 per seat at Mach 1.7 2029. So and with United on the board. And so maybe, I mean, for me, thinking about it, maybe Aerion folding, as you mentioned, had something to do with maybe they were both bidding at Rolls-Royce at United, maybe.
Right.
Or some other players we don't know about, possibly. And obviously United went with Boom, and Aerion's like, well, that was our whole thing, and maybe it just wasn't managed well. I don't know. And then they folded pretty suddenly, actually. When we talked about that, I don't remember the exact date, but it was a Friday morning at the airport there. The airport authority was meeting with a lot of the owners of property there, and they announced it there, and literally went out of the meeting and told their employees, and that was it. It was just like done. Crazy how sudden it was. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. It's
Look, it sounds like it
it's
sounds like they have the
yeah,
proper group lined up to help them, right? And I'm just rolling some footage here on their announcement when they rolled out the XP1. And
yeah.
it sounds like they have the proprietary amount of information with Rolls-Royce, like you said, lined up. And it sounds like they
Hmm.
have the right people in the proper places. But that doesn't, I mean, I can't say this enough. That doesn't always mean success. Okay. And the different look, I know they're going with a fairly proven design, which would
Yeah.
say that this is, doable. That the only issue I have is when you set that dollar per value per seat, you have to hit very stringent, goals in order to make that happen. I don't see anyone going supersonic anytime soon at that price range because right now to get certain places globally, your global ticket prices are well into the thousands. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
don't see the congruency there of that being a realistic goal to have this happen. The second part of it is that concerns me is the fact that that even though it's based on a proven design, it's not type certified or tested yet. Now I know you could
Hmm.
do all the wind tunnel testing in the world, but call me suspicious at that level because a lot of money. United's also purchased a couple other air taxi investments that they're looking at for the not too distant future that they want to operate under. I think it was SkyWest or someone else. Um,
Yeah. I don't
I'm
recall
good.
that one actually.
Yeah.
No, no, go ahead. I was just I don't recall that, but
I thought
doesn't
one of
mean
them.
much.
I thought one of them had made a commitment to buy like 200 air taxis from I can't remember was it Lilium or
Yeah.
there was one of them out
And
there, right? And
yeah. Anyway, yeah. There's yeah.
risk. This is a risky move. I think it's risky, and yeah, I don't know if any money's exchanged hands or it's just a promissory note at this point. But to me,
Right.
I want to see it when it happens. I think it was they said, oh, it was the United took a stake in the eVTOL startup Archer. That's the one that they took the stake in
Oh, and they're gonna support
for
Mesa or
Mesa
something. Is that
Airlines
them?
for
Yeah.
200
Yeah. Yeah.
electric
Yeah.
aircraft being designed to fly
Yeah.
short distances. So look,
Yep.
is this United making appeal? Oh, hey, I'm going to throw this out here. Is United
What's up?
making appeal to the green market in some respects to try to say, look, we're into this cool future of into these marketplaces that we think are going to be target rich environments for the eco-friendly traveler? Hmm. Just popped in my head.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, one thing I'll say, I just was thinking about as you're talking about that was I know United. Well, okay, we talked about Boom wanting to be net carbon neutral when their operations, but also I do also know that United wanted to be net neutral by 2050. Now I know that's some time away,
Right.
but I guess why I'm saying that is they also have that on their playbook, long term playbook.
Hmm.
Now, at a distance of 2050, is that just PR? I don't know. I mean,
Could be.
that's some time from now. That's 20 what, 8 years? 28
Hmm.
years and change. Um I mean, here you go, YouTube. What is aviation going to look like in 2050? I don't have any clue because we're way into air taxis and electric vehicles and we're way into tons of different stuff by then. So,
This kind of goes into one of the place I was watching a video earlier today about the light rail that actually not the light rail, but the fast rail that's coming through Florida. And
mhm.
as people would predict it, it's very difficult to have an older technology make a stretch back into an economic area when the
Mhm.
price that you're asking for, and it's a private company that's doing it, right? The price that you're asking to do it at is so expensive and they're footing the bill and they're having to put
Yeah.
themselves in a position to work with all these different economic boards and groups and local governments to try to get something like that done. Well, look, sonic aircraft this is not something that's completely different. Supersonic's been tried before, and
Yeah.
some of the critiques are going to be where you're going to make it go supersonic, how far
Mhm.
offshore, how high, where's the sonic boom going to take place,
Of
how much
course. Of
noise is this
course.
thing going to produce on takeoff, are your engines going to be quieter? I mean, these are big things because when the Concorde used to go, it used to piss people off, okay, that lived near JFK. I seriously pissed people off. There were
Mhm.
groups that literally wanted the aircraft banned for a very long time. So, you know, there's other variables that literally, as I'm just thinking about it, that are part of things that need to be worked out for real supersonic transport to make it
Yep.
back into the ecosphere of aviation. So there, I
Yep.
said it.
Yep. I don't know.
Don't know either. Hey, let us know. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Please. Yeah.
Yeah, like throw some comments out there because there's a lot to discuss on supersonic travel coming back to being into the mainstream. So, interestingly enough. And with that said, Corey has also picked up on some other stuff in the eVTOL market, and he's going to lead you down the road with some great news from Joby Aviation.
Speaking of noise being an issue for planes, Joby Aviation, which claims to have their vehicle be able to do 100 times quieter than helicopters, is just announced an infrastructure partnership with the largest mobility hub operator in North America. That's called Reef Technology, and as well with Neighborhood Proprietary Group, Property Group. So basically, what this kind of gets down to is these companies already have sites across much of North America and actually some of Europe as well. And they're partnering with them in the sense that they want to be able to just convert some of these locations, these parking garages in a way, right, into infrastructure for, on the top level, of course, for the Joby aircraft. If you guys remember as well, Joby bought up Uber Elevate, so the Uber component of air taxi kind of stuff that did some helicopter transportation as well. So Joby's still doing what they can do. I mean, they're still moving along with their plans to basically make this happen. It kind of goes along with everything we talked about with infrastructure. We talked about obviously charging and then where they're going to fly, airspace regulations, how the FAA is going to fit into that, whether weather requirements. But one of those components was, physically, where do you land these things? And the top of, parking garages that would effectively redo the top level and make them Joby vertiports or whatever they might want to call their landing ports.
Right.
I think I said something. I think I saw something about skyports. They might want to call them
Skyports, I think is what they were calling them. Yeah.
But doing that, it kind of does make sense, I gotta say, because the location's already there. It would just be redoing the top level, obviously with regulations and everything, but it's already there. And places where there are parking garages, there's already a decent amount of traffic. So it kind of goes right along with their point of saying, okay, if they can literally be up to 100 times more quiet than existing helicopter, the average helicopter that would be flying in from a place like top of a parking garage, then okay, yeah, it leads to be seen. But yeah, that's. I think it's cool. What do you think, man? What do you think?
I think they're making all the right moves. I think that Joby's going about the same way, and even going back to what the comparison of building a railway station or something else. You need to make your connecting areas, right? I think what they're going to have what they might struggle with is the airspace regulations where they're building these things, because parking garages tend to be in places that are also city centers, and in most of those places there's usually large or some sort of overlying airspace, or maybe even noise abatement restrictions, helicopter corridors or other. And in that typical conversation, the layman may not see that as a general interest or concern, where we look at it and go, hey, there's going to be all these other things, and the other part of it is it's going to be in close proximity of things to hit.
Buildings, anything in a city. I mean, that's where parking garages go. So
yeah, wire strikes, also bird strikes, things that nature, because birds like to hang out in parking garages. So there's a lot of little concerns that when I see this, I go, great marketing strategy, because these guys are really approaching this from the perspective of what's our market going to be like, and how I would place a CVS, say, in one area, and and make money with it. Well, where am I going to put my stations that they're going to have the most impact? I don't know, just throwing that out there. What's your thoughts on those concerns right there?
Yeah, same thing, man. Exactly what I was mentioning a little bit about. There's a lot that goes on to it other than just where to park these things. And as you mentioned, somebody who's not maybe into aviation or doesn't know as much about how it all works as one big system would maybe also not see, exactly like you said, where do the approach path and departure path from these aerial or from these landing places go? Because I can imagine you could see, right, there's going to be designated landing spots on the roof, or the area that they designate for movement areas, non-movement areas. There's going to be places where they land from or taxi from, then where they take off, but also like the actual pathway, like physical cardinal direction. Which direction do they go?
Yeah,
just to depart the parking garage until they reach a certain height or whatever the FAA deems necessary for either all, across the board, or if regulations come down that far, a minimum height for EV traffic, air taxi traffic, or just for this particular operation, because you can see, depending on weather or maybe other stuff, that a particular place, a particular landing zone that they operate might be shut down due to something else going on, right?
Well,
It
there's
just
something.
wouldn't be operational that day. So
Look at if you look at the picture on the website, though. I just
which
spotted something.
website?
This is the one the picture that was actually on the one that you sent me, the
Oh yeah, that one.
article.
Yeah.
There is what looks like, and I think there's somebody going IFR, because it looks to be a Joby aircraft flying directly over the road. And yeah,
IFR.
yeah, you have to.
I was like IFR. I'm like, I don't know how you're
roads.
thinking of that.
He is doing the old IFR thing, and here's
yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if this was an artist thing, or they were just like, well, let's throw one flying directly over the streetlights and coming in, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. The other thing that people don't understand that will affect these ability and the places to land is the winds as they come through city environments change, and they create all sorts of environmental vortices that that wind folds around buildings, goes under overpasses, goes through parking garages in completely different ways. And its buildings often have a lot of venting systems off the roofs, which create hot columns of air, cold descending columns of air, depending on what they're pumping in and out of these buildings. That's also going to affect this ability to take aircraft off. And once you also mentioned cardinal direction of the actual wind, of the actual departure, what about cardinal direction of wind, which is going to be more efficient for flight?
Of course.
So,
Oh yeah.
So
you could envision them saying, well, you got to take off north because north has the least amount of buildings, or the only amount of buildings where you can get past them. And if the wind is from due south and they got to take off due north, they either limit their weight they can carry, or they just,
who knows?
They'll fly. I mean, I don't know.
Who knows at that level?
I don't know.
It's just interesting to see, because I don't know. So now here's the other thing: the case study is going to have to be done on how efficient they are and what directions of hover. And look, the other thing is, when you have these multiple rotor systems, if the wind is coming from behind, that front rotor is going to create a disturbance of air for the rotor in the next plane of whatever's happening. So their wash will be combined at some level. There will be some sort of dynamics that take place. So you're not going to be out of those rotor wash, and downwash and possibly effectiveness issues where maybe an outside trailing rotor will lose part of its efficiency and others will gain some. So there's going to be some sort of compensation for that. Maybe it's augmentation. I don't know. Another reason why I like who.
I do. Yeah, I know.
Another reason why I like Gentilterra, because it's the solid. Once you don't have to deal with that rotating mass to get lift, there's a big advantage.
There's a bunch of things, but yeah.
Other things. Anyhow, so yeah, let's wrap that one up, and let's talk real quickly about a couple other things, shall we?
Sure, yeah.
Hey folks, remember, like, subscribe, and follow, and we appreciate all the support. And with that said, we have to talk to you guys, because look, I was actually really disappointed. Now WWDC closed just now, and there wasn't one more thing.
I see.
It's over.
Literally switching. Yeah,
it's over, and there wasn't one more thing. There was a couple of hardware announcements that I was really expecting, like the new MacBook Pros coming out. Didn't happen. I thought there was going to be a new possible Apple Watch. Didn't happen that I saw. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but as far as it looked, it was mostly software developments. But we'll see if there's going to be one more thing. So with that, Corey and I, okay. So the channel, right? This channel, it has proven to be able to right now hit a very specific target market, which is air taxi and aviation, which we're kind of surprised at, because we didn't expect that when we first started. This is supposed to be a journey of just about everything. However, what we really need is to find out what you, the subscribers, because you guys are growing at a rate that we had no idea we would hit. And it's doing it generically at this point at a 3 or 4 times over what we expected. And I guess at that level, we got to talk to you guys about what more do you want to see us cover? Because our time and energy that we invest in, because we went to places like Sun and Fun, and we still have videos that we can produce from that. We went to places like, the Rolex. We've done a bunch of things. What do you guys want? And secondly, do we need to be more controversial? I don't know.
About what?
I don't know. In our approach, so I often think about it. So one of the things that I've discovered right now is that the videos that have more comments do better. They do. But I
Yeah.
also noticed that I see some guys on YouTube and they spread garbage out there just to get comments, just to get views. And I'm just going, well, I mean, we don't want to put out garbage because obviously we want to be intelligible and whatnot. However, we also want to strike conversation. So what's the best way to strike a conversation with our viewers, I guess, would be my question. Yeah,
I don't
tough
know,
one,
man.
right? He
I
had
mean,
no idea I was
I
going to
guess
ask him this, though.
I guess that's part of the whole thing is we enjoy talking about what we like to talk about, what we're interested in, but we're willing to talk about anything and learn stuff about anything that you guys might want to talk about too. With that being said, that in of itself, just because we're talking about what you might want us to talk about, doesn't necessarily mean there'll be more interaction and more comments and whatnot. So, I don't know, man. I'm not sure.
It's interesting. I only wonder because, look, to be honest, when we thought about the things that we were going to add into this channel, it was kind of like an algorithm crash, right? The things that we actually enjoy, we naturally went to YouTube to look or digest more information about anyhow, which is completely natural because YouTube tends to be a little bit more on the tech side of some things, where if you're talking about iPads, lighting, if you're talking about new technology, if you're talking about aviation, it seems to be highly specialized that was never catered to in markets that existed for like aviation and so on and so forth. It couldn't make it in
Right.
mass market TV. That
Right.
it naturally just catered towards you two, and you made your own production and you got yourself started. Which also means that it expands the room for people that want to communicate and talk about those activities on a way that they don't have a talk show that relates to those activities in the way that they would want. That's what kind of the foundation of Not Your Average Show is about, which also ironically means New York ass in when you shorten it up. However, that's just a consequence, or NY. Okay. Probably this will probably get demonetized for that one anyhow. So the difference being is like didn't know that was coming. I guess the funny part is when we're talking about the channel and the growth is we need the interaction. We want to have the interaction, and we want to know where you guys want us to be led to go down to follow those roads if they stay in that container. That's the biggest thing for us because again, the growth has been phenomenal, but we know because we've struck on certain areas in the air taxi market that it's made a huge impact in our ability for people to find us.
Yeah.
It happens to be our forte because we're both professional pilots, but you know.
Yeah, we like a lot of stuff, but that just ended up being what really worked.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So there's that. And so, hey guys, do us a favor if you can, and you get a chance to watch this one, because this one we're going to clip out and we're going to put aside. Let us know really where you want to see more information go. If you want more highly developed videos that are more polished about the challenges that other markets are going to face, if you want stuff that's more based on cars, if you want stuff that's more based on this, that, or how we analyze, or if you want to see us do more screen work where we list things out for you or something, let us know in the comments below about places that you think would be important for us to spend our time and energy on, because we really, overall, we want to do it for you to watch, and that's important to us.
Yeah, of course.
So, sure. All right. With that said, like, subscribe, follow, and I am...
Yes, please.
Yeah, yes, please. And here... I'm a little disappointed. I'm going to go over here to The Verge because I didn't get to watch the last part of the WWDC keynote. And Corey and I watched the very beginning, and it looks like everything that they wanted for iOS to incorporate new stuff for messaging, being able to watch shows and stuff together inside of the messaging app. A couple of big ones there that actually affect aviation was weather is going to get a massive update on the iPhone, which means you're going to get live weather maps and stuff that looked like to me was going to be more broken down towards people that were into aviation a little bit as a quick glance item, number one. Number two, there looks to be the ID content that they're going to be putting into iOS, which basically means your driver's license. And to much my surprise, it looks like the TSA is going to be involved at some level with having your ability to actually keep your ID on your phone rather than in your pocket, which to me, that's a massive step forward. I think in some areas, because I don't know of any other company that's doing that. That was pretty impressive. But I think the one that struck me the most was the fact that the iPad will now become a full development platform for iOS through
Yep.
Swift Playgrounds,
Yep.
which
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
that's pretty cool because when I heard that announcement, I peeked up and I was like, huh. I was like, that's quite amazing for them to do that. Even though Swift Playgrounds has been around for about the last 5-6 years, it opens up a whole new development market for tons of people.
Hmm.
So we got a comment. You want to take that one?
Yeah. So Brad saying, remember, gents, your opinions are important for us to understand and agree or disagree with your presentations. You are attracting more people than you expected to get this. Yeah, I mean,
a little bit.
yeah, we appreciate the input, of course. I mean, that's part of it as we kind of, let's say, casually analyze things, right? We're not going into super hard depth on everything, but as we learn on our own about stuff we want to know and we share it with you guys, it's obviously that's part of it, actually, right? Is that you guys can agree or disagree with us, and actually that's maybe kind of what we're saying, is that we would not appreciate, I guess is the wrong word, but we encourage you guys to do more commenting in the comments live or later on the videos with what we said in it, if you don't like it or you do. And because as much as it is the Mike and Corey show talking about stuff that we already are interested in, it's really the third person in the room is really you guys, and that's kind of why we say, not your average show, because
Great point.
it's us
Great point.
talking about doing whatever we're doing, but then you guys are here too, and that's the advantage of the live show, because we can interact like now.
True.
But we're certainly more than happy to do it over comments too later. So.
You actually hit on something that I completely dropped the ball on, which is the fact that yes, it's that interaction that is part of this, which makes it not average. The topics might be above average or something else that people don't expect, but the fact of the matter is that we can introduce, yes, a live element of the audience and fully on interact is great. See, I guess my vision. Ooh, I guess we're gonna have to chop this one up a little strangely because we went back.
Yeah.
We went back into another topic. However, I guess for me, when I think about, okay, and we'll have to wrap this up here in a minute, but when I think about the difference between how we interact with the audience, I guess this would be my best summary of what I would love to see. I would love to see us discuss a topic for, say, 7 to 9 minutes, and then have the last 5 minutes of that topic just opened up from the bombardment of what we would get from chat. And really see how that changes the discussion a little as to what people's feelings and temperaments are to different subjects. That to me would be ideal, because we could set the stage and then we could continually go into the argument, whatever is going on with chat. And to me, that would be brilliant if that was something that was to develop. Now, the problem that we have is the show is doing better post live stream than it does during the live stream. Which it might be a timing aspect. It might not be a timing aspect, but that's one element that we didn't kind of expect when this started. So
it's true. Yeah. And Mike hits it right on the head there, because we were talking earlier about, when will the show continue to be live throughout the week, like time of day, not days, but like what time of the day. And I know we got Brad here, we got James here, and we appreciate both of you guys here. And it's more just along that, we're happy that you guys can be here, but as we mentioned before, we got nearly 215 subscribers, and they're supposedly liking our videos and checking in with stuff we do whenever they can get to it. So we obviously have people that like what we're doing, but when are those people available? When are you guys mostly available? And this goes for you guys in chat now, but later, right? If you're seeing this video like right now, later, when works? Would you guys? We'd love to interact with you guys live, and what time works?
And the other part of it is that what I guess the hardest part is that, hey, life got in the way this literally since the beginning of April. Things just took turns in both of our lives where we just couldn't complete the task at hand and stay committed to it. And it has, but let's put it this way, it has not dropped off the radar where we sat back and said, oh, whenever. We were both like, God, we really need to get and keep the show moving, because it sucks that we're challenged with the economic environment that we're in and everything else, and health of family members and so on and so forth that takes place. And so there's a lot out there. But I think Brad just commented it again. He said, keep doing what you're doing. If it isn't broken, don't try to fix it. I guess the difference is, I guess it's the size of the net. It's not about not fixing it. It's about maximizing the potential for growth over a period of time. Because we have a shelf life, unfortunately, of how long we can commit if it doesn't become either A, profitable, or B, big enough to at the very least warrant more investment of time. That's just facts of life. You know, you can stay with it forever, but you know, if we're sitting here a year from now and we're at 251 subscribers, we go, "Huh, it was fun."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just like Mike says, I mean, on my end, it's the same exact thing. If we do this for a year and we stay about the same subscribers, we probably won't do it anymore because I know on my end, I'm still gonna talk to Mike about this stuff
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
right? Because that's part of it too, right? Right,
Right.
guys? Like we always talked about this stuff
Didn't make a difference.
anyway in this kind of back and forth. Oh, how about this? Oh, that's really cool. Did you see this article? That's always going on.
Yeah.
But we thought, hey, let's try YouTube, and then we know other people must be interested in this stuff too. But if either the format or the approach or something isn't working, then yeah, we're not going to do it forever. But yeah,
If I had an unlimited budget, you guys would see some stuff that we have put down on paper ideas, and I'm not going to give it away because some of them are really clever.
Yeah, it's
Okay?
true. Yeah,
And if we had the opportunity, what we would garner for putting together on the show would be really amazing. Okay, and we're reaching out to some of these companies that have reached out to us that have said, "Hey, reach out and let's start a conversation," because we want to get some exclusives here as well. And when we do that, it's with the hopes that we're going to bring you some behind the scenes stuff that everybody's waiting for.
Yeah, you literally can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be stuff that's gonna go big.
Sure.
And soon, and yeah, so
hey,
we're excited. We'll see.
We're excited. We're hoping that that's the direction that it goes. But anyhow, the other part of it is like, subscribe, follow. Let us know in the comments below what you think we should be following. But if we're just going to close out here in the last minute, is pretty disappointed. We didn't get a one more thing from Apple, so I'm just kind of like I'm sitting here going, I really wanted to see that the iPad Pro is going to get a little bit more unlocked. And I'm hoping that there's something else that's going to happen in the not too distant future, although it sounds promising. Sounds like they under-delivered on the iPad, over-delivered on messages, and super-delivered on the iPad being able to be an iOS developer platform.
Yeah, that is super cool.
Yeah, that is massively cool. But as far as the ID goes and how that's going to work with TSA, I think that's going to be very unique. It's a very different approach. So, hey, I think that's all we've got for everyone today. We look forward. I'm not sure what time we're going to be on Wednesday, if it's going to be an afternoon or an evening show. I got a lot of work stuff. If you can tell, I'm not in the standard studio either. I traveled, and I'm currently up in New York taking care of some business up here. And I'm going to be up here until Saturday. So there's that. So while I'm on the road, though, I did bring the equipment, just like what we covered with the launches and stuff. I know we missed 2 launches because I couldn't be there. Do we have
Same myself?
Yeah, I think we've got another launch when I come back, though, don't we?
There was so there was a Falcon 9 that went up with Starlink,
right?
Starlink launch. There was a Falcon 9 that went up with a Dragon resupply for the ISS. That went up too, guys. That was both successful.
Because I think we got a Falcon 9 that could be possible for June 17th, which is a Thursday in the afternoon. And I think that there's another one, the SSSO rideshare one for Transporter 2. And I think that one is also another opportunity. All right. Well, look, I've got to go. I got to take a phone call. Appreciate your time, guys. And we will talk to you very soon. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody. Peace out.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Take it easy, guys. Do that. So, yeah. Nice. Good times. Thanks, everybody. As always, appreciated.